Blue Cheesecake.
Hi. Hello.
How are you this Sunday?
I'm good. I hope everyone's well too.
Yes, ma'am, I am as well. Thanks for joining. I know you've been very busy the last few months, especially so many competitions, so many events, international as well. There was a Japanese event which was held in Coimbatore, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
not an Indian. Yeah, so basically, there was this event called Japan Thiruvira that had happened in one of the universities here in Coimbatore. So
mhm.
yes, they had a small little this thing opportunity, a window open for cosplayers as well. So participated in it.
That's nice. Yeah. So yeah, you've been very busy the last few months, especially, and thanks for making time to join. I know we've been planning this for a while, but like there's a lot of events going on, and here's the funny story, right? We don't know how many cosplaying activities happening out there. Even
Yeah.
though me being someone who's interested in that, I still haven't got to see those or heard of those, heard of many of those as well, though. But
Hmm.
after discussing with you, that's when I understood that there are a lot of events going on, but we just don't get to know them, at least for most part. So first, let me start with: can you tell me how did you get into cosplay, and what is cosplay, just to people who don't know, and then we can start from there.
So cosplay is nothing but costume play. It's more like dressing up to be your favorite character, be it anime, because it started in Japan. So the whole thing revolves around characters from mangas and anime. And later, as it spread to the Western worlds, it's more to do with even dressing up as comic characters from Marvels and DC and everything. And then, of course, it's also inclusive of Disney and cartoon and everything that dates back to the early 90s as well. So
That's nice.
basically dressing up.
Yeah. So, and yeah, cosplay did go outside animes and mangas as well. As you mentioned, it started out to be animes specifically, but then it went all the way, and Halloween also become part of cosplay at some point. There's so many things, games started coming in as well, and other things as well. So it did expand. I know in India, this is not something which was widely followed, because when I was in college back in time, I watched cosplay videos or discussions on cosplay, which was in US again, US based television shows, or and those kind of things, but was not really familiar that Indians also had it. I think 2011 is when cosplay first came to, I think Comic Con came to India, right?
Yeah,
New Delhi, I
I
guess, the first
think
one.
I think it was 2013 actually.
Okay, 2013. Okay, and yeah, that's when it came in, and I still wasn't aware. I think I only got to know somewhere in 2018, 2019 is when I was again aware that there's cosplay happening in India as well. But how did you get into cosplay? How did you start this thing?
Well, as you said, even I was introduced to cosplay only in 2018. It was like once I came back from doing my university. I first studied in Bangalore. So, right after that, like when I came to Delhi, well, it was very random. I saw another story of another fellow college friend who had posted her story on Instagram saying, "Hey, I'm going to be dressed up as this and meet you at the con." So, I was like, okay, there's something called Comic Con, and I had no idea of such thing happening. Okay, and
Mhm.
I was like, okay, so people, do they just dress up and go? I don't know what is this cosplay and everything. So it was very exciting, and I just didn't have any costume at that time. So I didn't have any wig, I didn't have any lenses, not even any costume that was fixed. So I just pulled out whatever I had together. And I went as Bellatrix Lestrange from Harry Potter. Although, like, I really couldn't get her personality right. It was only after experiences that I then learned to choose characters according to my personality, so I could better fit into the shoes of the character. So it was fun.
That's interesting. We've actually failed to discuss about the character that you are in today. So you are dressed up as Naruto, but a female version of it.
Yep.
Right. So Naruto seems to be one of those things which a lot of people like cosplaying. There are several characters. You specifically have played few characters from Naruto yourself, right? And I think
Yeah.
the one which you won a prize in a Japan Tiruvalla, which happened, and I think that was Spain, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was a female version of Pain.
Female version of Pain, yes, ma'am. And yeah, you had what is this person who keeps talking about art all the time? I forgot his name though. He had a pigeon kind of thing from Naruto.
Okay. Yeah, Deidra.
Dedra, yeah, Dedra, yeah. So you've also cosplayed as that person as well. And
Yes, yes.
first, let me tell you how we met. So we met cosplay again. Cosplay with Comic Con, which happened in Bangalore, 2023. It was November. I think it's almost there. I think November is almost here, which means we might have another Comic Con soon.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
And you played as a character. You were wearing a blue outfit with wings, like a fairy
Yeah.
of sort. What was the name of that character, if I may ask?
It's Bloom from Wings Club.
Okay. There's so many animes which we're not familiar with as well, though, because I'm from old school. I know Dragon Balls. That's the first thing which I was
Yeah.
introduced to, and Naruto lately. Yeah, yeah. Now some One Piece maybe, but yeah, rest all not really familiar with. So, how many animes are out there, and how many of them are quite famous at this point?
I have no idea as to how many animes are there. It's like saying count the number of stars in the sky, honestly, or at least that's how it is to me because I'm still new to the whole anime realm. Started watching with Death Note. I think it was my first ever anime, which I saw when I was in 11th or 12th standard. And following that, I saw another small series. It's a psycho thriller called Another. So yeah, I was just repeating these two as like I was binge watching them again and over again, until I think past 2 years. No, during the lockdown is when I actually started watching Naruto, and I binge watched it because of course it's lockdown, you have nothing else to do. So of course I finished Naruto and Naruto Shippuden in like the 2 years I think. And now, like I've seen a lot of movies as well, anime movies. They've been super cool. I think I've crossed all movies from my Studio Ghibli list. So they're like my favorite so far because they have a hint of nostalgia associated with childhood and a lot of surrealism in it. So it's like one of my favorite. And now recently I've just started watching One Piece, and I'm like crossed 500 episodes. It's like
I've been
halfway
following
through.
your posts as well. You've been giving updates on how far you
Yeah,
come
I
with
do.
these.
Yeah, that's because I honestly started watching One Piece only because of all the other fans out there who've always been like, "Hey, haven't you watched One Piece? Haven't you done anything related to it?" Because even the last time when I went to Bangalore for Comic Con and I wore the orange wig and the blue dress and the wings, it was for another cartoon, it's not an
Mhm.
anime, and I was cosplaying as Bloom from Wings Club. But people came from behind me and they were like, "Hey, Nami." I was like, no, I haven't seen One Piece yet.
She's a
But
famous
now,
character, right?
yeah, she's extremely famous. So, of course, now I can play her role some other time when I have all the costume ready, put together. So, waiting for that day.
That's nice. Hope I get to see you again this Comic Con in Bangalore as well. I think, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken, November,
definitely.
December might happen, I
Yeah,
guess.
November is in Bangalore, December happens in Delhi. So,
Right. So, yeah, speaking of November and December and Comic Con in Bangalore, you're not based in Bangalore. You're based in Coimbatore.
currently, yes,
So you travel a lot for these events. So if you were at Bangalore and you've been to other places, you travel a lot for these events. Uh,
I do. Yeah.
right. And how much of a hole does it, make in your pocket though? Wigs,
Well,
outfits,
it is
travel.
very difficult. Yeah. I mean, there are other cosplayers out there who try to go to every single con that's there. Uh, but honestly, for me, it's very difficult to do that. So I do not do that. I try to go to how much ever is possible by me, both physically and also financially. Um, so yeah, when I was in Delhi, I used to attend only the Delhi Comic Cons, and also like I used to be a part of the Delhi Anime group. So I used to go cosplay in a lot of malls and all those stuff. And then there were also opportunities given by PBR, especially during this Shang-Chi movie premiere, for which we had gone. This was in Delhi, of course. And it was only like last year when I came here to Coimbatore, it's been more possible for me to travel around. So I have been attending the Comic Con in Bangalore, then in Chennai. And also like in Coimbatore, it's like very surprising for me that it's actually a very small town compared to cities like Chennai or Bangalore or even Delhi. But there have been a lot of events happening around here. So being a part of it has made me also feel really proud because this is my native. So, and it's been really nice to see Coimbatore developing so fast in even these sectors, and to be a part of it is like really amazing.
That's interesting. I've been to Coimbatore once to meet a friend of mine. Me, a couple of friends, we been there once. It looks different. It's what I would assume from Coimbatore. What my initial assumption was that the place would be uh, hyperactive, like there are too many people, too many vehicles, and all those things. But this was more of a smaller place, and it had very clean localities. Though most of the places were very clean, right?
Yeah,
And compared to, I'm from Bangalore again, so I see Bangalore is a very busy place, and then I see Coimbatore, and then most of the places are very clean, and yeah, it's got a different style in terms of buildings and other things. There's a traditional aspect to it, but yeah, we don't want to get into that. But there is definitely a difference when you compare it with Bangalore. But speaking of Delhi, you mentioned Delhi that you are an art student as well, right? And you studied in Delhi,
yeah.
right?
I
And I
studied.
also, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just continuing that I studied in College of Art, Delhi University. So
Nice. And I also, there's another thing which I want to discuss. You also have another Instagram page, which is called Blue Crew Comics. You do artworks
yeah.
on that.
Yeah, so this was again during the lockdown when I started seeing a lot of people, like probably a lot of people were already there drawing, their daily lives through small comics on and posting them up on Instagram. And I was like really influenced by artists such as Yehuda Raven, who is an Israelian, and he's been one of my most favorite artists since forever almost. He generally draws things related to his relationship with his wife and his kids. So that kind of inspired me. And later on, even there was another comic, that is another comic rather, called Love Handle Comics, which is like really cute. And it's about a couple who, they draw and illustrate their daily things, small fights and how they cope with life in general. It's not just all about relationship, and it's like really really cute and sweet and very relatable, which is one thing that made me want to start my own comics thing. But honestly, I haven't been able to keep up with it, especially because of the algorithms in social media. You need to be really consistent with all these things. So I think the most active that I have been is in this Blucheesecake, which is my Instagram, I mean, the cosplay handle. So yeah.
So I've listed your handles down. You can see them on the screen. So all your handles,
Yeah.
and there's another one also called the Journal of an Earthling, where you are a nature lover. You like to post pictures or videos of certain certain time of the day and other things. If you could explain a bit more on those, that would be nice.
It initially started off with me just capturing photos of the skies. Honestly, it started with, because the sky, the clouds, especially in places like where I am right now in Coimbatore, it's like you see blue skies, you see the white clouds making shapes and patterns, and sometimes during the sunset the sky turns all pink and sometimes orange, and it's like really magnificent to see how, all this happens. So I started capturing photos and things randomly, and it was very much later that it like I started even putting up photos of mountains and wherever I go. It's not specific to just the sky. um, yeah, and I haven't been able to keep it consistent either. Honestly, it's not like a big thing that I'm doing. It's just more like a diary for myself.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's it.
That's nice. And you also have you are very active on social media, if not just Instagram. There's also a YouTube channel which is called What a Doodle Do, and I see
Yeah,
interesting concepts listed on that. There's several videos of you describing your passions, and you've also talked about at one of those videos you talked about you wanting to have an art stall at a Comic Con
yeah,
event as well. Yeah. So yeah, I see that you have a lot of things. You have artwork going on, cosplay going on, as well as photography, as well as YouTube. There are several things that you do, and I'm assuming that you're no longer a student. Last time we discussed it, you're working as well. So how are you managing all of these at this point? There's a lot of things going on with you.
yeah. The thing is, Well, I don't know why I opened up so many Instagram accounts. I just, I don't know, like, um, it just happened, like I could have stuck to one, but then there were like different interests coming in from all around, and I thought, okay, why not have another page for this? Why not have another page for that? And now I have told myself that this is enough. We have enough pages, so let's just deal with what we have. And the most active is, of course, as I said, Blue Cheesecake. And I try to build up on that alone for now, like as much as I
Hmm.
can, because um, time is very limited. It's the same for everybody, of course, and also juggling with work and everything else that's going on in real life, out of social media. So yeah, I just try to stick as much as I can with Blue Cheesecake, but I also try whenever I do come up with something super interesting, then I put it up on the other pages as well. So
Interesting. So I think the last time when we spoke, we've discussed certain things which are known, and there are other things which are not familiar to most people as well. For example, we had a discussion in terms of where you get your outfits, your wigs, and other things as well. You mentioned that a lot of stores do provide these. There's a special secret community that you have, society of some sort. So
yeah.
you can explain that if you don't mind.
So yeah, I mean it's unfortunately in India it's very difficult to find costumes and wigs and lenses and props that's required by every cosplayer, and not everyone would have they wouldn't be able to really buy things from outside of India. It's very expensive. So there have been other cosplayers who had their own small businesses, and they had their pages on Instagram, and that's how I get my costumes and everything as well. There are a lot, honestly, there are a lot of shops and businesses popping out every few days. So there are like a couple of them which I have specifically mentioned on my stories on Instagram, and I've even created a kind of story highlight on my page if you go check it out on my profile. So
Mhm.
you can see a lot of other cosplay, the shopkeep, I mean the small businesses the people have for wigs and props and everything. So yeah, it's a small community of cosplayers, and we are trying to make it big in India. So maybe if you're interested too, you could always just pop by and help in whatever ways possible.
I would definitely be interested in. My first interest came in those katanas, which I wanted to, katanas are something
Yeah.
which. Let's just go to Japan for a second, all right? Everything from Japan is just way too cool, right? Not just with animes, but the culture itself, right? So one of my
Yeah.
favorite things, as I'm a gamer, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I primarily show interest towards games, especially, and there's going to be a new game which is going to come out, which is going to be coming out soon, November 2024.
Uh, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you now. Your voice is just gone inside.
Sorry, yeah. There is a new game that's about to show up soon, which is from
Okay, okay.
Assassin's Creed, and it's
Okay.
called Shadows. This is again based in Japan, right?
Okay.
So anything which is based in Japan or from Japan or which has any affiliation to Japan is just too cool to ignore, right? And katanas are one of those things. The samurais, the
Yeah.
katanas, the ninjas, all of those things, right?
Mm.
And the katanas were quite famous as well over here in that, especially during the Comic Con time. There were a lot, and people were just buying them in bulks, right?
And
I'm not sure it's a One Piece thing or it's just the katanas in general.
no, One Piece. It's not just One Piece. Honestly, it's also to do with Demon Slayer. I think it all started with Demon Slayer. Because when I was in the stalls in the Bangalore Comic Con too, I saw a lot of people having swords that were from Demon Slayer.
Mhm.
And there were like all sorts of katanas. They were like they had LEDs, so you just open it up from the hold, and it lights up, and it was like really good. You had the USB charging port at the back of the katana and the handle area. It's really cool. But the one that I have, I got mine from Amazon, honestly, and it's good. It's a solid material. It's made out of plastic, I think, and I think the
Mhm.
main katana area, the blade, is made out of wood. It's pretty
Mhm.
good. Yeah, and the craze is insane.
It is. I still have to own one though, but yeah, I've always liked it. There were so many, and I actually got my wife there, and there were so many of those, and I
Yeah.
just took that. looking at her like, which one do I get? And eventually didn't get any of those. So it was so disappointing. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
katanas were a big deal at that point. And also just want to talk about this one thing. Most of the
Mm-hmm.
cosplayers, it's not just about buying things, they tend to make their own things as well. For example, you mentioned about
Absolutely.
the sword and the flames and all those things. I've seen most
Yeah.
people build their own, including the
Yeah.
costumes and such. How much creativity does it take, and how much effort do people put in those kind of things? Because it's
Um.
not about buying and play, pretending to be someone. It's you're pretty much
Yeah.
involved in every aspect of it. So,
So, DIY things, there are like a lot of pages and YouTube channels as well dedicated to the same thing. But sometimes not everybody requires them. People just do things about by themselves. Um, l- yeah, like I've obviously, done a lot of DIYs. I still do them sometimes when there's no budget, and if there's something that I want to do, like more customized to myself, to my liking or to my fit, then I still do like customized things at home. They may not be 100% perfect. Like this katana, sorry, this is a kunai that I had done like
right.
during the COVID, and
Hmm.
it's very wonky. You can see this side of it; it's like not even proportionate. It's like this is small, this is big. It's got cracks, and this is really like it bends. And it's got this hole that I just used a old elastic band that had gone out of elastic, so it's got a good grip though. So, and it had another thing here on the top. It was like a coin, so you can just
Correct.
roll it around in your finger. It was pretty nice. I had this in my hand because of course I was dressed up as Naruto, but I have another thing that I had made. It's inside right now. um,
Hmm.
so I had a sponge ball, the smiley balls that you get. I had painted it completely in blue and made it as the Rasengan that Naruto uses. I stuck a lot of shiny ribbons cut out, like the Starry Night kind of thing, the painting made by Vincent van Gogh. So it looks like really realistic. Not very realistic, but still, it gives the effect. So there are like a lot of things like this that people can actually do at home. Even when I cosplayed as Bloom from Wings Club, you need fire to come from your hand, and I couldn't really think of what to do. Like if my fiance was here right now, he would have helped me out, make things with smoke and LED and everything. But I was over here like all alone, and I had to do something on my own. So I basically took uh, those plastic files that you get in different colors. So I cut them out like flames and stuck them around a base that was an LED lamp, the yellow or orange glowing lights that you get, the battery changeable things. So it kind of looked good, honestly. It didn't look terrible. But yeah,
Hmm.
there are so many ways to approach to DIYs depending upon your budget and depending upon what you can do. So depending on that is what like it becomes like whether it's too expensive or affordable or how.
That's nice. So here's a question my wife want to peddle in, though she just messaged me saying, ask this question, which is, what is your favorite character to dress up as?
Oh, okay. That is a very difficult question because honestly, I've done so many characters till now, and there have been a lot that I love every single character that I cosplay. If not, I wouldn't really do them. So Naruto is one that I really like, which is why I've done it today as well. It's actually my wig is super messy today. I couldn't have the time to actually detangle it, and since it was a live, I mean it's just a virtual thing. I thought it's fine, just pop it on. Because before this, I like just 15 minutes before I had to come for the live, I was dressed up as Rin Nohara from Naruto. So it was
Hmm.
like more plain. I didn't have a wig on. It was my natural black hair and everything. But my cousin here, she was sitting here and she was like, "No, this looks too basic. So you need to do something more for a live." So yeah, so then I popped on into the Naruto thing. If not, yeah, the another thing that I really enjoyed this time was doing Pain because
Hmm.
he's got this really crazy looking lenses, which really brings the character to life. And before that, I even liked doing Dedara because it was the same wig that I reused that I'm wearing right now. And it was good, it was fun because, in my hand, I would draw a mouth that looks like
Yep.
Dedara's. the mouth that is inbuilt in his hand, and he just takes clay and he feeds it to the hand, and the hand gives him a bomb. So
Yep.
I made that too last year with foam, and that was like fun.
I've seen
So
that picture though. Actually, I think the Daedra one was really good.
yeah,
Personal favorite if I have to ask you, between Naruto, Pain, and Daedra. I think Daedra was good, and Pain was good as well though. Yeah. But Daedra was my
yeah.
favorite.
And recently, very, very recently, for the Spikes Family Code White movie, I had cosplayed as Anya from Anya Forger from this thing, Spy Family. So even that was like something that I've never done before, but it was pretty fun doing it. So I really cannot pick and say that this is my favorite character so far. I committed myself to cosplay Bloom for the whole of my life because I really invested in the wings and the costume. I couldn't get a costume like imported, so I actually went to a shop, bought the fabric, gave it for stitching, and then got the whole costume done. So
So
yeah, so a lot of effort went in that, and I kind of told myself that I'm going to do the same character for the rest of my life and not invest again and again on different characters. But I couldn't. I couldn't keep doing that. So I, obviously decided to do other characters as well. So.
it's interesting. So I wanted to let me just flip the question a little bit towards the other side. What anime gives you the freedom to cosplay most out of it? As in, there are some animes that would allow you to be several with the outfits you have or with the
Mhm.
costumes you have. There are some animes would allow you to do more, and there are some which wouldn't allow you to be. For example, if you're a Dragon Ball character, you just have a blonde wig. You can be Super Saiyan anyone. And if you have a
Mhm.
blue Super Saiyan God, it can be two different characters, right? So what anime gives you that freedom?
Um, I wouldn't be able to say this. I'll be super biased because I've only seen a couple of animes myself so far. But I think I would choose Naruto as well as One Piece because One Piece allows so many characters in the story, and everyone has their own dressing style. And I'm pretty sure dresses are like something you can just pick up from your wardrobe and just do a quick DIY. So yeah, I think One Piece.
One
Because
Piece.
Luffy himself is a very, what to say, easy to do character. Just pop on a red shirt. It doesn't matter if it's a full sleeve or a half sleeve. Everyone has blue denims. Just put on a blue denim and a straw hat if you have one. That's it. Or you can be straw hat without having a straw hat. It doesn't matter.
He's just
You just
Luffy. He's
need a
just
star
red
here.
shirt.
That's
Yeah, red
it.
shirt, skinny guy, and blue denim. That's
Exactly. It could even be a girl if you're doing a female version. So totally.
now that we have One Piece as an anime, not an anime. It says we have a series going on Netflix, right? One Piece.
Mhm.
I think season
Yeah.
two or something is going on at this point, right?
Yeah.
And usually when there are these cartoon animes or seasons, that gives a boost as well. For example, Witcher. Witcher is a series, but again, there was books and the games as well. So this, at that point of time, there was a spike in people who were dressing up as Witcher characters, and so far you haven't done a comic book, not a comic book, sorry, a game character yet.
Eh, yeah, not yet.
Can we expect something in the future? Maybe, like as I mentioned, Witcher is one of those famous ones, and we are also looking at Assassin's Creed characters, which are quite famous as well. There was someone who also won a prize for playing as an AWOR from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Right? Any plans of those in the future?
Well, yeah, perhaps. I mean, it's not like I have a list yet, but whatever comes into my mind, sometimes I'm like also open to suggestions. So people randomly come onto my DMs and they, say like, "Hey, why don't you do this character?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, perhaps." The time when I have the resources for it, then sure, why not?
It's interesting. Yeah. So speaking of that, yeah, you are approachable, and you mentioned about your handles as well. And if at all
Yeah,
people would like to follow you, I have your information listed over here. And if at all they
totally.
want suggestions, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, totally. It's all about building a community, and I like talking to new people, people with similar interests and everything. So I try to help out people as well who want to get into cosplay. They come to me and they're like, "Hey, how do you get to know about all these events? What do you do? Like, how do you get these information? We also want to be part of it." And I just tell them that I myself do not know. I think it's the internet, the Instagram algorithm, that brings me more and more related to cosplay because I follow a lot of pages. So whenever I do get, notifications on such events, I generally put them up on my Instagram stories so people know about it. Even whether I'm participating or not, I generally just share things so people can always go if they're interested. Or if people have like queries sometimes, like, hey, I'm a newbie, so I want to do this, so what kind of character do I do? I sometimes, depending upon how much time I have to spare, I give them like enough information. If I can't, then I still have those story highlights as I had mentioned, so I just redirect them to go check it out so they can, maybe they find it helpful. So
Nice. And I just noticed that now you're wearing a lens.
yeah.
Naruto. I just noticed that now. That's blue lens. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. And so speaking of lenses again, so if you talk about Naruto, there is this Renegan, there's Sharingan, and all the other lenses which the Uchiha gang or the group has, right? So if you're playing with one of those characters, you need to have more than anything else. You need to have different lenses if you're playing the Sharingan or any of those things, right?
Yeah, well, not necessarily. There are like a lot of cosplayers who do it even without it. Like, as long as you're not like, I mean, if you're doing it just for fun and you're not really getting into the character 100%, or maybe not. Maybe even if you are giving your 100%, it's basically about your acting. It's about you being in the shoes of your character, even if you do not have the wig that's needed for certain characters. As long as you have something that shows that you are the character and people know from a distance, you're good to go, really. I like to get into the character as a whole, most of the time. So that's why I wore my blue lenses right now to do Naruto, so it's more obvious that it is Naruto. So
Correct. Yo, thanks again, and yeah, actually, a special shout out to your cousin who made, who kind of forced me to be more nice to her life, especially. So yeah, thanks to her or him. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's her, right? It's her. Yeah, sorry, I was paying attention. And thanks for joining. Like I mentioned, you've had a busy few months, and there are going to be several events which you would be busy again with as well. And I would like to congratulate as well as share my wishes to your art career, which is something which you pretty much wanted a lot to do with as an art student as well. And once again, thanks for joining, and I hope we get to do this again sometime in the
truly,
future
it's
again.
been my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, thank you, and have a nice weekend now.
You too. Bye. Thank you.